Okay, alright, I know. Harry Potter has been getting weird recently. The Wizarding world as a whole, kind of being rewritten. And I'm gonna admit, before I go into actually defending Harry Potter, for those of you who are criticizing everything that's been happening recently, you're largely right. In fact, J.K. Rowling has single-handedly changed my mind on the idea of death of the author. I've usually been fairly no, the material belongs to the author, and it's theirs, they made it, and they can change it however they want. This can be seen in other art forms, like with how George Lucas went back and changed Star Wars. A whole bunch. Since it first came out. Now I'm kind of not a fan of that idea anymore because, wow, J.K. Rowling has made some really bad choices when it comes to rewriting, and that's what it is, Harry Potter. Saying things like Hermione's black, or that wizards shit themselves in school and then evaporate the shit. It's just a series of choices that, as a Harry Potter fan, come across as, one, desperate for attention and headlines, trying to be like hindsight woke, which is just not cool or okay. Because if you're not going to originally write these characters this way, going back and just adding like a little like asterisk, like, oh, by the way, this whole time this was a thing, it doesn't come across as legitimate inclusivity or diversity. It comes across like you're trying to just skeeve your way into the wider conversation. Not cool. So yeah, now I'm more in the idea of like, hey, if Da Vinci came back to life, we wouldn't let him paint over his works. So we're not gonna let J.K. Rowling rewrite Harry Potter in 2019 politics. Especially because the Harry Potter series really does capture the feeling of the early 2000s, and trying to change it now to be more adaptive to the 2010s to 2020s is just not a good look, and it's not going to help your story age. It's just going to take away from how well it fits in the little time capsule that it is. All of that being said, the people who are now coming out and saying that Harry Potter is bad, people who like it are dumb, it's just for children, are also completely in the wrong here. J.K. Rowling is in the wrong, so are these hypercritical douchebags. Harry Potter is a fantastic YA story, absolutely above most of its peers. Without a doubt, its influence and impact in the wider fantasy genre as a whole has been monumental. It is still one of the best soft magic, or even really just magic systems ever created for the fantasy genre. Without a doubt. It's a great as an entry fantasy series for young kids, all the way up to adults. And people who compare it to things like Malazan or Lord of the Rings are silly and proving they should not be reviewing books, because Harry Potter by no means is trying to be even remotely similar to those things beyond having the same genre attached. And as I've discussed in previous videos, genre doesn't mean that much aside from a few story elements you'll likely have. You wouldn't try to compare Friends to Monty Python, even though they're both comedies, so I recommend you stop trying to compare Harry Potter to Malazan just because they're both fantasy. That's ridiculous. There is a level of character depth, world building, inclusion of a magic system that is ridiculously soft, and a wonderful tone that permeates the Harry Potter world and allows that series to earn its status as one of the best-selling fantasy series of all time, and it will go down in history. No matter what J.K. Rowling does now, that will never be changed. There have always been problems with the series, just like every series. It has its issues, but in general, it's far above and better than most. If it's not your personal taste, that's fine. I wouldn't say it aligns with my personal tastes now very well either. But people who come out and just say it's objectively bad, you don't know what you're talking about. Flat out, you do not. For what it is and what it tried to do as a series, there are few that have come close to doing it so well. I myself personally have more of a problem with J.K. Rowling as an author now than I do with the actual series she wrote. Try and separate the works from the person who created them. This will allow you a clearer vision of what's happening. J.K. Rowling, when she was younger and probably a different person than she is now that she's mega rich and has had years to separate herself from this series, is pretty desperately grabbing onto headlines. Her new entries in this world are not being nearly as well received, and the movies she's currently being a part of are pretty much just being met with, at best, lukewarm. So instead of trying to move on and craft something else, she's clinging on to the one gem that's associated with her name and trying to get that more associated with her than ever and update it to modern standards so that any criticisms people have about lack of diversity or inclusivity get dismissed. It's kind of gross behavior in my opinion, but it shouldn't change Harry Potter to you. Don't let this ruin the nostalgia you feel looking back on a series that probably had a huge impact on your childhood, judging from the demographics of my viewers. Most of you are around my age or a little bit older, and that's prime Harry Potter time. Is she losing her mind? I don't know. She can do whatever she wants now. It's not going to change those books, their cultural impact, and how you can enjoy them. Even if canonically, technically, Hogwarts used to be filled with wizards soiling themselves. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here. I'm losing my voice a little bit, so I might take it easy this weekend. Wait, I'm going to release this video Sunday. I might take it easy the first couple days of next week, and I hope you guys have a great weekend, because I'm recording this Friday, but for you it's Sunday, so I hope you had a good weekend. Peace.